The NHS is built on its people. It's this incredible system of care. But what happens when that very system, the one designed to look after all of us, fails to look after its own? Today, we're going to dig into that critical and often invisible link between the well-being of NHS workers and the quality of care that you and I receive. So let's just start with a number that should honestly stop us all in our tracks: 44.1%. That is nearly half of all NHS staff who said they felt unwell because of work-related stress in the last year. This isn't just some statistic on a spreadsheet. It's a quiet crisis happening right at the heart of our health service. And that number leads us directly to the very real, very human cost of providing care. And we're not just talking about a few people feeling burned out. No, this is a systemic problem, and it has absolutely staggering consequences for the entire health system. And when I say staggering, I mean it. Get this, we're talking about 4.8 million working days lost every single year. The number one reason for absence? Mental health. The financial drain from things like bullying and harassment is estimated to be over £2.3 billion a year. But here's the most important connection. Patient satisfaction is consistently lower in trusts where the staff's well-being is poor. So let's be clear, this is not just a staff issue, it's a patient care issue. For the longest time, the way we looked at this problem was, incredibly simplistic. The main metric, the big indicator of how things were going, was just counting sick days. The assumption was, if people are showing up to work, everything must be okay, right? But that completely misses the much bigger, more hidden problems, like burnout and presenteeism. When people are physically at work, but they're so exhausted and drained that they just can't be effective. So if just counting sick days is like trying to fix a jet engine with a hammer, it's just not working. So what's the alternative? How do we get beyond these surface-level fixes and really start to understand the true health of the workforce? Okay, so this is where a really fascinating new idea comes into play. What if we started treating the human side of healthcare with the same kind of rigor we give to the financial side? This is the concept of the human balance sheet. And the idea is actually pretty simple and frankly beautiful. On one side, you've got your assets. These are all the positive resources, the things that help staff to really thrive. And on the other side, you've got liabilities, all the burdens that have built up over time, the things that drain people and ultimately damage patient care. It's a really powerful way to make something that feels intangible, tangible. So let's break it down. First up, on the asset side, energy and vitality. Just think of this as the cash you have on hand. It's that fundamental resource you need to show up, to be fully present for your patients, and to work with your team. If that runs out, nothing else really works. And what's the liability that matches that? It's chronic stress and exhaustion. Now, think of this like a high-interest loan you've taken out against your own future self. It's the toll of all that pressure, all that emotional labor, and it's a debt that just keeps compounding day after day. Okay, another huge asset, skills and competencies. This is everything from your core clinical knowledge to your ability to communicate with people. And just like a really good investment, this is an asset that should grow over time. But, and this is a big but, only if you actually have the time and energy to invest in it through training and learning. And that brings us to the liability, skills erosion. This is what happens when you are so busy just trying to survive the day-to-day grind that you completely stop growing. There's no time for development, no brain space for learning new things. Your most valuable professional asset actually starts to go down in value. So we've got this really powerful new framework, this human balance sheet. But a framework is pretty useless if you can't actually measure what's going on. This means we desperately need new tools to see what's really happening beneath the surface. And that's where this concept called person-centered intelligence comes in. Now, I know the name might sound a little bit like corporate jargon, but the idea behind it is actually simple and profound. It's basically any data that focuses on the real needs of people, not systems, and crucially, involves those people in deciding what we should be measuring in the first place. And this isn't just guesswork. It's a real, structured 5-step process. It all starts with the most important question of all. Why are we even measuring this? From there, you figure out who you're asking, what you're going to measure, and how. But honestly, the most critical step is the last one. How are we actually going to use what we find to make things better? It's all about turning data into real, meaningful action. So, with this new way of thinking and these new ways of measuring, How is the NHS trying to put all of this into practice? Well, it's all about making a huge shift, from just putting plasters on problems to actually building an entire culture of well-being from the ground up. And you can really see how the official thinking has evolved. Back in 2018, the original NHS framework was almost entirely focused on one thing, reducing sick days. But then the pandemic happened, and it was a massive wake-up call. By 2021, the whole framework had changed to focus not just on absence, but on prevention and on creating a sustainable culture where staff can genuinely thrive, not just survive.
And honestly, this quote from the NHS Chief People Officer just says it all, doesn't it? Caring for the well-being of our NHS people enables them to care for the well-being of our patients. It's a simple, powerful equation. When we take care of the carers, they can provide better care for everyone else. It's a direct link.
All right, so now for the final piece of the puzzle. How do we take all these big ideas, the balance sheet, the new frameworks, and make them real for people on the front lines? Well, the evidence is pointing towards something called team climate. So, what on earth is team climate? It's basically the shared feeling within a team. It's the day-to-day reality of how people work together. You know, the level of trust, the quality of communication, that feeling that you have each other's backs. It's the vibe of the team, but it's a vibe that has a real, measurable impact. And the research here is just so compelling. A big review of studies found that a good, positive team climate can act like a buffer, protecting people against burnout even when the workloads are ridiculously high. It found that good team dynamics are super strongly linked to job satisfaction and to much better coordination of patient care. So this is the really crucial point here. While having enough staff is obviously important, the research suggests that the quality of how that team works together can be even more critical. Better teamwork, not just more people, was linked to better outcomes for patients, like lower hospital admissions. And that leaves us with one final kind of provocative thought. We spend billions on incredible new treatments and technologies for patients, but what if the most powerful, the most cost-effective treatment for the health system itself is simply about improving how we treat each other?